concrete patch. Now down this back straightaway.
51.01.
Giving his lap times.
Already a second off of, you know, a second of fall off already. So there's some good fall off at this racetrack. And you can put the left front tire right below that white line, and it just feels like it's a little flatter, takes a little wedge out of the car, helps the car kind of turn just a little. Momentum, that speed, that confidence, and swagger forward. Danielle.
Yeah, Dale, Ty Gibbs going up against Tyler Reddick in the finals here. Ty finished 23rd at Indy last year. Not think it's going to be good enough. Reddick is so strong at Indy, won the pole here last year, led the most laps, and finished second. So Ty Gibbs is going to have to put up one of his best performances in his Young Cup career, I think, if he wants that $1 million.
Yeah, another Toyota not running so well. Christopher Bell came in very early to make a pit stop and make a change. You can see the hood up on the car there, perhaps looking at the shocks, because he says he's just way too tight, and they knew that very early, so he was coming in to change that and make an adjustment. He told the team he's much tighter in turns 1 and 2 than he is 3 and 4, and Dale and Steve, I've heard a lot of drivers say how you get into 1 and how you handle turn 1 can dictate your entire lap, and the 20 car needs to be better.
Well, they need to be a lot better. 51.7 fast lap. That is like a 2nd and 3/4 off the fast time. Now they have laps of the tires. The potential's not there to go out and run it again, but you know, as bad as the 20 could dream of being, maybe a few tenths of a second off, when you get over a second off, that's a little bit of panic would set in.
And we heard from the team about the balance, and there's nothing that you could do about how each turn's going to drive from, you know, compared to the other. So turn 1 will be the tightest corner. It always will be. You'll lose rear grip off of that corner, but the entrance and getting through the center of the car is just not going to turn. And each corner after that gets freer in balance, and you sort of have to find this good, you know, mix of good and bad, and putting up with some things that maybe you don't love about your car, and add in the fall off, the heat, the lack of grip, how things get slick. You're going to have your hands full trying just to put together good laps. You're going to try to go out there and get a little bit more in throttle, get a little bit more on corner exit to run down this back straightaway, and maybe push it a little wide off of 2 and make those kind of mistakes that are going to hurt the lap time.
11 laps complete for William Byron in practice. He's 4th on the board.
Handful of cars not shifting, some fast, some not. But just so you know, I think I'm just a little snug and secure, which isn't a bad thing for clean track. Gives me confidence.
First bit of conversation was about shifting, and you would think that's only an engine thing, like you downshift to get more engine performance. But the more I understand that downshift generates some energy in that rear tire and actually change the balance of the car. So I think that shifting information is, hey, there's not a consistent trend. I'm seeing both. So William knows that means he probably could try it, see if it helps not only his lap time, but maybe his balance, Alan.
Yeah, and you heard it. He doesn't love the car right now, but instead of coming in for an immediate change, he wants to run longer and see what the car does over the course of that long run. He says the splitter's starting to hit on the straightaway a bit too, so they're learning as much as they can about the 24 car before they make that adjustment.
Well, he might not like it, but as fast as it is, you just keep on running. I'm going to tell you this, I have him as the 2nd or 3rd best car on the track on this long run.
I look at our leaderboard, 7 different organizations inside the top 10. You see the 24 on track. Here it is in the museum. So much success for Hendrick Motorsports here. And the museum is
Enjoy the last moments of summer. Get a free 5G phone on us, on America's most reliable 5G network. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart.
Sarah Benzino, Brandon
in-car camera with real-time driver data, multi-view options, and full team audio. Watch NASCAR Driver Cam all season long, only on HBO Max. 9 minutes to go in practice. Carson Hocevar, 6th on the board and coming to pit road.
Corner exits probably, but mostly down in 3 and 4 on that end of the racetrack. It's probably the freer corners, and you want to be almost, you know, full confidence, full throttle through turn 4.
Great in the stages, ends up finishing second. 23-11, 2 cars in the top 8 right now. Bubba jumped up to 4th.
You have room to give up arc into 1.
Give up arc so you can drive it straighter. Just turn in a little straighter.
And they're just looking at data, SMT data from other drivers, other teams, whether he needs to maybe shallow up the entry. And you hear him hesitant to throttle there. You turn down in the corner, you go to gas. Oh, it's a little tight, not going to make the corner. Breathe the throttle a little bit, make the adjustment. Alan, what you got on the 45?
Well, this is some of the clean air they were looking for. They didn't really have it early in practice when all the cars jumped out there and tried to get on the track as early as possible. But talking with Tyler Reddick yesterday, guys, he finished second in this race last year, a crown jewel, and he remembers every moment of that because he remembers Kyle Larson passed him, not from second to first place, but it was on that final run when it was about, say, 13th to 12th. He remembers the 5 car going past him, and that ended up being the pass for the win, essentially. That hasn't left his mind. He wants this crown jewel, and he wants it on Sunday.
New man top of the board, and that would be Austin Dillon into 3. We mentioned off the top you get a couple of sets of tires. I think we're starting to see now maybe teams playing some games and changing things up a little bit.
Well, and that was only 1 lap, so that tells me that maybe that's even a qualifying run for the 3. Other guys are going to put tires on and go run multiple laps. Larson has now jumped to 4th on his 13th lap. I don't think these tires are going to refire quite that well. Stenhouse up to 7th. Reddick, though, jumped up to 11th, but is now run a 2nd and a 3rd lap, which tells me he's on a race run.
You know, 25 minutes of practice is not abnormal. That's what we do most weeks on an oval. You get 2 groups, 25 minutes. But because you came here thinking you're going to get 50 minutes and qualifying is right after that, what does all of that do maybe to change your mindset in this session, if anything at all?
Well, I think you have to go back to a standard weekend. I think teams came with a more extended plan. Know they have 3 sets of tires at 50 minutes yesterday. Maybe even verifying some of their tools. Sometimes it isn't even about practice for Indianapolis. You go out there and say, hey, try A, B, and C and see if the tool says it's correct. Now it's all about Indy, 25 minutes, and you saw the fans on the front. The other thing is if you qualify early, if you're one of the first 10 or 8, 10, maybe 15 cars to go, I would quit practice early and try to like cool this car down. Larson now goes to the top of the board, a little bit of a toe here, and I think he's in race trim because he's run multiple laps. So the draft is good until it's negative, right? Like it's good when you're helping you down the straightaway, but then it hurts you if you get dirty air in the corner. Catherine Lang kind of getting out of the way of the 5 right there. We'll see what the 5 does as it keeps chasing. I can't tell the car in front right there. Oh, Priest.
Larson to the top, but he and Austin Dillon actually ran the exact same lap time. Maybe a prelude to things to come in qualifying. 5 minutes to go in practice.
Limu Limo at your service. Here to help you save hundreds.
Motorsports going for win number 100 in that race as we check on Denny Hamlin, 8th on the board.
Yeah, Larson right behind him, continuing to run those tires. This is about the 5th or 6th lap. I thought he might have made contact between the corners there. If he didn't, it was dang close.
He's been running some awesome laps. You see the board, right? There's a lot of cars we believe have made mock runs to get those times, but he's on race trim still. 4th on the board.
But we were talking during the break. We felt like, Austin Dillon makes a qualifying run. He's 5th, 49.95. And there's Hamlin, 49.44. I mean, we need to check 49.51. Oh, big.
So fast lap a year ago was a 49.27 in the first round of qualifying. The pole ended up being a 49.4. I expect it to be faster today. I think this tire has a little bit more speed, so I think we're going to see, 49.234. I think Hamlin's lap is probably a good barometer. We'll see if we get anything else in this last minute 20.
If qualifying had rained out, Hamlin would have started on the pole. He said, I would take it. I'd take no practice, no qualifying. He might have to go out and earn the pole, but right now, looks like he's someone that's quite capable. Last week's winner. And here's someone to watch. Ryan Blaney, 3rd here a season ago.
Yes, someone to be a little bit maybe concerned with, at least early in practice. None of the Penske cars were in the top 20. Looking on the board now, things are kind of shaking up a little bit, but the 12 of Blaney on the track now, assuming he's got new tires on the car, trying to improve from 35th on the board. The 22 of Logano's 30th. The 2 has re-ran, and he's up to 9th. But he was down the board quite a bit as well. So
there's Austin Cindric. Saw him teeing it up on a golf course here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway yesterday. And he told Danielle during our rain session last week when we were supposed to have practice and qualifying at Dover that he recently broke 100 on the golf course, which was a big moment for him on the golf side of things.
He just went out and ran ran 3 laps there. Put a flat on the board that puts him 9th. I don't know if you want to be all that happy about that. You certainly want a little bit more speed. I think a lot of cars are now making their final. Practice has come to an end.
How about Chase Elliott? Last 5-6 races has been delivering big time, and last week took over the regular season points lead as we put the red and black flags in the air signifying the end of practice.
Blaney re-ran and then run a 50.64, only moved him up to 32nd. Logano in 31st.
Ty Gibbs on the other hand jumped all the way to 4th, right? So a lot of movement. We don't normally see this much movement in practice. The leaderboard stays pretty consistent.
Qualifying is going to be fun coming up here, and it's so significant here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The broadcast industry and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway lost a good friend this past week. Bob Goodrich was a legendary producer for ABC Sports. His career began in 1970, and he produced 23 Indy 500s along with the first 5 Brickyard 400s. Olympics, Monday Night Football, Super Bowls, and golf's majors add to his legendary career.
I'm getting 5% cash back on the monthly category I choose.
get on the pit road.
Let's hear now from Shannon Spake. Good afternoon, Shannon, and belated happy birthday to you.
Oh, well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate that very much. One year more around the sun. John Hunter Nemechek had a fast car, 5 and 10 and 15 lap average. But what are you doing right? Is this like reading a book on
or post-practice going into qualifying, not trying to overanalyze data and hyper-focus on something. So something that has really helped me through this year. Travis has been a tremendous help to me through the year, and just trying to figure out what works for us. So yeah, the theme is yellow shirts this weekend for Indy. So we're going to design some sneakers, but hats off to all we've been working really hard, complete turnaround from where we were at last year. So the last 8 months have been really good. A lot of processes, a lot of procedural changes, a lot of great personnel. Proud to represent Pi Barker colors here on our Toyota Camry XSE. And if you look at the screen over my head, we have the red outline for the Petty family for all of the crown jewel races this year. So pretty iconic to be able to have them. But one fast Toyota Camry XSE, that's for sure. Hopefully we can go contend for a pole, go have a really
on it in practice. How do you feel? I know it's a little different than what you guys expected coming in this weekend.
Yeah, it definitely is. We didn't know where we were going to stack up, right? Not having practice yesterday. I kind of wish that no one had practice at this point and we just lined up and raced or lined up and qualified. But overall, we had a really good car here last year as well. We led some laps, got off strategy. Probably had one of the hardest hits of my career here late in the closing laps, getting involved in a wreck. But this year has been pretty good stat-wise. I've felt way more comfortable in this race car this year. Felt more comfortable within the team and with myself, and a lot of high confidence for myself coming into this weekend just based on performance last year and where we've been able to build over the last 8 months.
You hear drivers talk so much about what it means to win here in Indianapolis, but you also hear them talk about the heartbreak when things don't go right. I just heard it in your voice as well. Does it sting a little bit more when you're here at this place?
I mean, I definitely think so. When you drive through the tunnel, I drove through Thursday afternoon. You see the pagoda, you see the Indianapolis Racing Museum. This place is just so iconic. Walking down Gasoline Alley, walking out pit road. It's absolutely amazing. The energy is high, the vibes are high, and it's definitely a place that I've had circled on my calendar all year as far as somewhere that I've been looking forward to going. So I'm excited to race tomorrow. I feel like I'm in a really good headspace with our whole crew right now. It's been a tough few runs the last few weeks, but we've been able to overcome those at times and dig through adversity, and consistency is key, that is for sure. That's what we're shooting for here at Legacy Motor Club.
Have fun out there, and let us know when we can purchase these sneakers online, the Yellow Jacket sneakers. Danielle? Okay.
Shannon, no surprise, Brad Keselowski was fast in this practice session. He's the fastest Ford, P3 overall. Brad, how pleased were you with the car?
Yeah, we had a really good practice. I thought our qualifying run, we did a little qualifying run there at the end to see what we had, Danielle, and the car drove really good. Really optimistic. We put a lot of work into being fast for this race. Got a little bit more we think we can get out of the car, and we'll see if that'll show up here in about 30 minutes.
You were up front at the end of last year's Brickyard 400. Hated to see you peel off, running out of fuel. How long does it take to get over something like that? The thrill of victory, because you've won the Brickyard in 2018, and then last year the agony of defeat.
Yeah, you know, it's just the highs and lows at this track is, you know, like any racetrack, but just means more here at the Brickyard. It's a crown jewel race, and we were well positioned, and the yellows at the end just didn't favor our strategy, and that's part of how this race goes.
How important is it going to be to put up a fast qualifying run here and start up front?
Yeah, pit road selection here, very, very important. The track position is going to jumble, so at some point you will not be at front. So, you know, you always want to qualify up front, but it's really important to call the right strategy, get the race to go your way you want, and have a good pit stall to enable that, and qualifying sets all that up.
Thanks, Brad. You can tell AA that he's won this race before.
And he did so with the captain, Roger Penske. That adds a little icing to the cake when you're able to deliver for the captain it displays.
Yeah, post-practice, reading through some radio comments, specifically Kyle Larson mentions that he felt like the track had a little spot. He wasn't sure if it was coming up or just rougher than normal off turn 2. This is a live shot of the exit of 2, and this is moments ago. The officials out there kind of examining it, so they see something as well. You know, this track is pristine, the whole area, but that is, something's there. I don't remember that spot. You know, we don't come here often, and we've gone back and forth, but there's definitely some sort of blemish or grind spot maybe that the drivers are feeling.
Yeah, that's wild looking. That. I've got some.
If we stay right there, that's where I would think is back the camera up a little bit. Yeah, so the upper half of that shot up in this area is where the cars, I think, are going to be on corner exit. So that must be where they're going to feel it. I wonder if other drivers are have any comments. I'm reading a few, but we'll see if this becomes a story over the course of the weekend.
Denny Hamlin quickest in practice, Alan.
Yeah, and that's one way to start off your weekend, getting that final crown jewels, be fastest in practice. We know what the numbers say. How's the car feel?
Pretty good. You know, not a ton of complaints. There's a few things we got to tweak on, make a little bit better. But overall, pretty happy with the Progressive Toyota, and it's got some good speed. We just need to go out here and back it up.
Yeah, can we talk about driver language for a second? You said on the radio it's like 1/8 tight in this corner, it's a 32nd tight in another corner, and a
It's the same number system every driver has, only I do fractions. So that's the only really difference. It's just I felt like I could fine-tune it a little bit more if I did fractions. But overall, you know, this place is different because, you know, wind plays such a big factor. You know, what part of the track has sunlight. All those things are big factors in how you drive this racetrack, and it changes by the minute, so you got to keep up with it.
You seem to thrive in distraction sometimes. One less distraction is where you're going to be the next 2 years. You're not going anywhere from JGR. What'd that mean to you to sign that deal? And maybe it's your final, you were undecided, but what's it mean to you to sign that deal?
Well, it was great to, you know, kind of give Joe and the whole team a kind of good runway there. Feel like, you know, I'm as competitive as I've ever been, and so I want to continue racing as long as I'm competitive. I don't want it to go the other way, and so I just felt like that was a good number where I felt comfortable that I can maintain this level of performance.
And I know, look, talking to a lot of you guys, we know about the bump in 3. You got to go over that to be fast. Anything coming up in turn 2 that you're feeling this year?
Not really. Turn 2 feels pretty straightforward to me, same as it always has. But, you know, the difference between like a turn 2 and turn 3 are just so different. So you got to approach them way different.
All right, Denny Hamlin, fastest in practice. You heard his language, guys. I mean, an 8th tight, a 32nd tight, a 64th tight. I don't know how you all understand this, but Denny Hamlin's doing something right.
Well, I think the most important thing is just you use the same scale, and I appreciate you asking him about turn 2, Alan. He obviously hasn't felt or heard anything over there. Larson was one of the radios that we had heard. Let's listen to what he said during practice.
The racetrack's like coming apart there off of turn 2. Where the track's coming apart, is it high or low off of 2? It's high in the groove, mostly like early on the backstretch. It's definitely where we're on the straightaway.
So that's Kyle Larson. Remember, he was here for the Indy 500, so he knows this track probably as well as anybody in the field. NASCAR said they did do some grinding, but that was pre-Indy 500, so nothing new for the track, but new for the Cup guys. It's been a year since they've been here.
Qualifying coming up. Top 5 from practice: Hamlin, Nemechek, Keselowski, Gibbs, and Zane Smith. Those just a handful of
There was an accident in practice during the Indy 500 where they had to repair the racetrack. And Hinchcliffe actually said that that's an area on the racetrack that needed some repair work, and it does kind of, bother the drivers a little bit if there had been a lot of rain, which we did have yesterday. So something to pay attention to. All these old racetracks, this is a really, really nice surface, but they do age and they do start to have some character and imperfections over time.
I'm surprised that Truex got back to you that quickly, not because of your relationship, but because I figured to be on a boat somewhere,
Yeah, for sure. Starlink.
Jesse Love.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not out in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
You nailed it. Jesse Love, first car out in qualifying, Danielle.
Adam, I don't know about that St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail. This guy, Ross Chastain, prefers watermelon with his meals. Ross, we were talking about upstairs in the booth, the issues high off too. What were you seeing in practice and what were you feeling with your one car?
I'll prefer a Busch Light Lime after a hard day's work, if I'm being honest. But
good sponsor plug.
That's right. Hey, after this weekend, we're deserve it. Just not making a lot of grip in our #1 car. In practice there, in race trim or a mock run we made. So, yeah, our left side rub blocks are scraping off of 2. I'm not sure what that is, but I can see where the marks are. I don't know anything about asphalt at all. All I've ever learned, Ken Adams and the Melvin Joseph group up in Delaware taught me. So, yeah, we just got to make more grip, let alone what the track's doing over there.
Last time we raced a crown jewel was the Coke 600 in Charlotte. What would it mean to add this crown jewel and kiss the bricks at Indy, Ross?
Oh, it's everything I could ever dream of. Sometimes I still have the phantom feeling that the ring's still on my finger. I don't wear it every week all the time, but I can still feel like it's there. I wore it so much that first week after we won. So we'll keep working and see what we got here. Then we can worry about tomorrow.
Finished 15th in this race 1 year ago, Alan.
Kyle Larson was 6th in that practice, last year's winner, of course, but we heard your radio. A bump that a lot of us hadn't heard of, and maybe in turn 2. What were you feeling? What was that?
I mean, I guess it's more like, I think it goes pretty good.
But the front half of the
you get some tight moments in turn 2.
I don't know, I was fine.
Like turn 3 is good, 4 is good. It's like normal, and then turn 1 and turn 2 are a little slicker. So, yeah, just try to get a decent balance, which is always hard to do here. But overall, I feel good about it.
You're one of the last to go out. Other than knowing what the number and target is there an advantage to that? Does the track change? What is that like being the last to go out?
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cloudy, and humid, so clouds are coming and going pretty quick, and hopefully you can catch a cloud. I think that would definitely help, but we'll see. I think we'll have a good shot at it here. So just gotta try to hold the throttle down as long as possible.
Kyle Larson trying to go back to back, kind of an old school feel, trying to catch a cloud here in qualifying. We don't hear that much anymore.
Yeah, Alan, we referenced earlier Larson doing double duty, going to run the Xfinity race later. First 3 cars out in qualifying doing double duty as well. Love first out, goes a 50-80. He's the best of the bunch. Josh Bilicki, quite a bit slower. They did have an issue with their car during practice. Catherine Legg finishing things up. Qualifies 3rd of 3 and now on track in the 51 Cody Ware.
Jesse Love was 36th out of 39 in practice, bringing new excitement to the NASCAR industry as he moves up through the ranks.
Cody Ware finished 18th in his Indy start last year.
50-58 puts him P1. And here's Noah Gragson, finished rather inside the top 10 in this race a season ago.
Yeah, that was a moment. That's not what you're looking for.
He looked a little wide off the corner there, but
that was coming to the start-finish line, so you wonder if it hurt his pace.
I don't expect anything else from Noah, man. He is wide open all the time, always hanging it out.
Danielle?
Adam, I want to share this sweat towel with Priest. It is so hot down here. He's just wiping off before he makes his Q run. Ryan, what'd you learn in practice and what's important for your lap here in qualifying?
Basically rolling as much speed as you possibly can. It's going to be really important to not be tight, not be loose, so pretty much perfect. So I'm going to let Derek and the guys make sure they did that, and I'm sure they did. And I felt really good with this Castro Ford Mustang in practice, so we'll see if we hit that balance right for qualifying and see if we can get a pole.
All right, Ryan Priest feeling good, guys, smiling through the heat down here on the grid.
He told me yesterday he came here as a kid, raced quarter midgets in the parking lot, so he's familiar with Indianapolis. Noah Gragson down in the 49s, 49.89 puts him at the top. And here's Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, that would have been in the top 10, but Carson's lap looks quite a bit better here.
Green and growing the advantage. Most of our, boy, that was wicked coming off the corner. And there he is.
That's coming to the finish, right?
Yeah.
Getting everything you can get. Just sending it through turn 3, which is literally just feet.
Yeah, I suck.
From the finish line.
Had a moment coming to the checker.
There you go. He did. But I don't know that it cost him a ton. Looking at the lap time at the middle of turn 3, from that point, here it is, coming off of turn 3, just the car shoots way up the racetrack, and he barely misses the end of the safer barrier there. And solid lap, though, 49-49.
A.J. Allmendinger, you talked about Catherine running in both races. Well, A.J.'s got a top 10 in both. He finished 7th in the 2013 Indy 500, a couple other top 10s. Thinking about this. This is the man that had his seatbelts come undone while leading the Indy 500 and took a couple corners to convince himself he needed to come to pit road. Now, it wouldn't have taken that long.
He was a lot younger back then, too.
But heartbreaking, because you're in position to do it, driving, you know, in the biggest race and all those things for him, and just unfortunate he had to come down the pit lane. Pretty good lap going here, flirting with what Hocevar ran as you look at the tracker.
Yeah, he was getting a little bit of everything off the turn 2. Looked like he had a little bit of a moment. Just pushing these cars to the limit.
Second, 4/1000ths of a second behind Hocevar is A.J. Allmendinger.
Cole Custer on the racetrack now, coming down the back straightaway. A good bit off pace.
Coleman won Rookie of the Year 2020 in the Cup Series, won that race at Kentucky, and was great here in the Brickyard 400, finished inside the top 5.
He was 35th in practice. He'll be disappointed with the speed in that car. A little work to do still.
4th for him, Danielle.
Our defending Cup Series champ, Joey Logano, is watching the tracker closely. Joey, what'd you see out there with guys that have made a Q run so far?
Pretty fast, from the looks of it. Yeah, so he's just trying to figure out the grip level. You barreled off into turn 3, and you get kind of an idea of what your grip's going to be like, but you're still not completely up to speed, and you know how important 2 and 4 is for overall lap time. If you overrun 2 and 4, make a mistake there, it really costs you a lot. So, you know, it's a really fine line of, you know, getting it all and going for the pole, which is qualifying here super important, but you push just a little bit too hard, the risk is really big.
He's watching qualifying, Adam. He's also taking in all the sights and sounds. He was at the museum yesterday here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with his oldest son, Hudson. Alan.
With Kyle Busch looking for that first win of the year. We're hearing drivers, you know, there's bumps in turn 3, maybe something off turn 2. What were you fighting?
Bumps in 3, is that what you said?
Yeah, and then maybe some in turn 2. Out in some were hitting in turn 2. What are you feeling out there?
Yeah, we were a little bit free in turn 2, just trying to work on the platform and keep it more consistent through the corner, through entry, through center, and all that sort. So we made some adjustments to the race car, the Zone Chevrolet, and certainly got it better, felt better about it, felt a little bit more right rear grip out of it. So would like to think we've got some good top 10 speed here for our good qualifying effort, and try to get after him tomorrow and go race him out.
All right, Kyle Busch trying to put down that fast lap. He knows something about kissing the bricks, guys. He has done it twice. He knows that crown jewel feeling.
Yeah, he got the sweep here. Xfinity and Cup 2015 and 16 did Kyle Busch.
Riley Herbst ends his lap. But right before that, Shane Van Gisbergen ran a really reasonable lap, putting him 3rd on the board. I know you probably want to run a little faster now, but think about the challenges of oval racing and coming to a racetrack like this where it's not a traditional oval. Yeah. You could basically break this down into a road course and approach these corners basically one after the other the same way he does at maybe like a Watkins Glen or somewhere. So this is a place where I think Shane can make some big gains in trying to improve on the ovals, and it seems to be happening right here in front of us. Solid lap.
Good speed, yeah, for Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, very much so. He's going to give a little bit of back here into 1. He needs to kind of stop the bleeding in 2.
At the long back straightaway. So, and this is gas.
Big chop of the throttle.
Yeah, and that's just going to continue to bleed lap time right down this long straightaway because you cost yourself the momentum and you're not going to gain that back. The motor's not going to recover. You're losing to the cars that are ahead of you, and here's the end of the lap. So I think about how this.
We had a good like that end.
I think about how you have to think about running the lap if you use the traditional start-finish line, and we talk about turn 1 being tight, 2 a little less tight, the car freeing up as it goes around throughout the lap. Running it this way seems to me like it'd be a real challenge because you run through turn 4 And that's the freer corner, and the change in balance is going to be significant from the first turn now, which is turn 4 to turn 1, down here past the start-finish line, the original start-finish line. So just a really challenging thing to do for these drivers. Just flipping where the start-finish line is kind of changes how you approach the lap entirely.
Suarez finishes his lap in 8th. And here comes the third driver from Trackhouse. Heard from him just a second ago, Ross Chastain in the 1.
Yeah, so he's going to exit turn 3 right here, and this will be the start-finish. Boom, start. That is the lap starting. So this is Dale's point. So now, normally you would get a run through turn 4 without being on the clock, but he's on it here.
Yeah, but you probably don't have much of a balance issue at all through turn 4. Now you're going down into turn 1. This will be a tight turn. The car's not going to have a ton of grip. You're going to go through there. Now this next corner you can push it a little harder. How hard can you push it? You can give it a little bit more. Turn in's very important there. He misses.
Whoa,
see?
Missed the bottom.
You try to get too much. Flying it off into turn 2 there.
I'm telling you, psychologically, it would mess with me utilizing an alternate start-finish line.
It is. It's tough for the drivers because they have to think about how, it's going to feel so good in 4, and it's going to trick you into asking the car to do too much at the other end of the racetrack. We're seeing that already with a few guys. Danielle.
Our defending Brickyard 400 pole sitter, Tyler Reddick, finished 2nd in this race 1 year ago. Tyler, watching what it's going to take again this year to put up a repeat performance, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for sure. It was really nice to be able to get that done last year. Yeah, it's easy to make mistakes around here at Indy with the wind, how tight the cars seem to be, in turn 1 and turn 3. So we're hopeful that we make good adjustments to our Xfinity Mobile Toyota Camry. We were just fighting tight real bad, not really able to put any kind of good pace up there on the racetrack. So it's going to be a bit of a question mark, certainly, what we're going to have here. We took a big swing at it, so hopefully the car is able to do what I need to get us pole number 2.
Looking for pole number 2 and win number 1 on the season, guys.
Got a nice advantage over that cut line, but boy, he would love to win and finish the deal. And now we go back to the action on track. Eric Jones flashing the green.
So we saw this car jump up the top of the board in practice early. Ended up overall 8th. Now we get to see the real speed in this 43 car if it's legit. Looks like he hurt himself just a little bit on corner exit there off of 2. Not quite as good as Hocevar. Gives up maybe a half a tenth down the back straightaway, but still a good lap.
Money in the bank.
Hocevar had trouble here off of this corner. Just a couple thousandths.
Eric Jones now leads 49.24, a couple of tenths quicker than Hocevar.
Steve, you said this should be a little bit quicker. They run a 40-something last year for the pole.
Yeah, they ran a 29 in the first round. This is back when it was 2 rounds of qualifying. And they had run a 27, in the first round for Reddick. And then he backed it up with a 46 in the second round. So today's just one shot at it, 1 round. 27 was the fastest. So that's just a touch quicker than what Reddick ran.
Slipper still fits for Ty Dillon, who's made it to the championship round of the in-season challenge. Qualifying run for him puts him 9th right now, Alan.
And there's always pressure when your boss is Roger Penske and Ryan Blaney out there after practice getting ready to qualify. Not what you wanted on the speed charts. What were you fighting out there during that practice?
Yeah, just trying to find a certain balance, just kind of off in all areas. I could be pretty free, race trim. We mocked up, and honestly, I kind of missed 2. And that definitely didn't help us in our little mock run. But just need to find a little bit of speed, a little bit of handling in our Ford Mustang. But hopefully we'll get there. I'm confident in it. Hopefully we can put a good lap down. Kind of playing the cloud game. See what kind of clouds are going to come over this racetrack, and hopefully we get lucky with one. But really appreciate Delta Faucets for being on the car, Menards as always, and be a fun weekend. It's a great place. It's awesome to be at Boss's track, Mr. Penske, and hopefully we can qualify good today and give them a shot at Victory Lane tomorrow.
All right, we'll see if they can make that adjustments for qualifying. I assure you guys, everyone down here waiting on that cloud. Whew, it is hot.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., best finish in the Brickyard came a season ago, 11th, 12th through this qualifying lap.
You talk about missing turn 2. We've seen a lot of drivers do that. And listening to Kyle Larson talk about the entry to 2, there's no grass on the interior on the entry to 2, and that's a bit of an identifier for a driver to turn off into the corner and really try to find the apex of the corner. And I believe it really makes the entry look wide, and you can get a little bit lost, turn in too soon, turn in too late. We're seeing a lot of drivers. You've got to be perfect within inches of that turn in and hit it just perfectly to be able to make the lap work and get through the corner well. And so we're seeing some drivers struggle with that, and even Blaney having that issue in practice.
Closing on the midway point of qualifying here at Indianapolis, Zane Smith went 10th after a top 20 run here a season ago as a rookie. And now we check in on the 24 of William Byron.
Yeah, William had really good speed in race trim in practice. You see that little concrete strip down on the bottom. You don't want to touch that. You want to get as close as you can to it, but it's very rough and not going to be fast. You touch that. There's a little bit of grass down there as well. You don't want to get blocked down into the grass and drag that up into the racetrack. It'll create some cooling issues for the drivers behind you, possibly. We'll see a lot of that. Some challenges with that Sunday, tomorrow.
Watching Byron on the track really puts into perspective how good the lap was for Eric Jones.
Well, you were fast in practice and weren't sure whether that was real speed.
49.44 second right now for Byron. Danielle?
With an Indianapolis winner, got it done in Xfinity. Chase Briscoe a handful of years ago. Chase, as an Indiana guy, what did that win mean to you, and what's it going to take? I see you looking at SMT to get a win on Sunday.
Yeah, that win in 2020 definitely, I mean, meant the world to me, right? Like coming here as a kid, time and time again, just dreaming to be on the other side of the fence and to be able to actually win here was unbelievable. The hard part was it was during COVID, so none of my family or friends or fans were here. So yeah, my family was literally 10, 15 minutes down the road at my cousin's house watching. So hopefully I can win it again and do it with all them here. No better place to do it than the Brickyard 400. So yeah, definitely see what we got with our Bass Pro Shops Toyota. This is been a good last couple kind of 5-6 weeks for us. So hopefully can have another one this weekend.
I would say so. Briscoe, Adam, the hottest driver, arguably the summer, wins Pocono. Almost had a shot at the win last week. Top 2s in 3 of the last 5 races.
One Indiana driver to another. Briscoe talking to Danielle, and Justin Haley from Winnemac, Indiana, made his qualifying.
Oh, man.
And here's John Hunter Nemechek. Oh, my.
Stayed in the cast, though. Look at the thing still trending green. Oh,
there.
Oh, the second time might do it, though. The first time he somehow got away with it. The second time was a bigger hit.
Oh, man. And he had so much speed for his teammate Jones there. They were both quick in practice, and he's got issues with the right rear of that car. Maybe already bent the toe link on it.
Sure.
Just take a look at some of the contact that he had. This is exiting turn 1. He got away with this one, Steve.
Got away with that one. That was just a bumper cover. Didn't hit the right rear tire, and then he gets a little bit higher the next time, and this one, that's tire, front and rear, big damage.
Yeah, that was really hard hit, done a lot of damage to the right rear suspension.
And now here's the problem. Now you're taking a car that was good in practice, repairs going to have to be made. He's going to start shotgun on the field, and this track is so track position sensitive, so hard to figure out how to get up there. So, I know he was excited, thinking front row, and I would have encouraged him. But now, risk versus reward, it's going to be a big penalty, unfortunately, for the 42 having that damage.
Layers of disappointment, because you guys talk about how good he was in practice, teammate, top of the board. They ran 6th at Pocono, similar type racetrack, so a lot of optimism for the 42 group, and now behind the 8 ball. Austin Dillon finished his run. He's 9th. Here's Ryan Preece. Comes in 16 points below the playoff cut line, chasing Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he didn't have a great result last week. He's done a good job to kind of stay in this argument or conversation around the playoffs. But didn't really make a charge to try to cut into that deficit with Bubba Wallace at the bubble. So we'll see how things go this weekend for Preece.
And I have winners coming. I think this Preece-Wallace current cut line isn't the cut line, in my opinion. It's at least above Wallace, if not above Busher. I think we have 1 or 2 more in the last 5, and it can upset everything.
That didn't look like a really good lap. Turn 3 was really bad. Missed the bottom of the corner and all the way out of gas coming to the finish there.
Austin Cindric from 39th to 7th in this race a season ago. Made a mock qualifying run late in practice. Made quite a jump. We'll see if it pays off here in qualifying.
And with cautions, there's a lot of opportunity because that's kind of what jumbles the field up. But if this thing runs green, It's just really hard to find a way to do something different than everyone else. Hendrick clocks in 5th.
Brad Keselowski, great car in practice, 3rd on the board, out in the 6th. Talk about drivers that could win down the stretch. Put them on the list. I think about the drama of Daytona to end the regular season.
Well, we forget this race a year ago, he was leading the field to green and had to pit literally off turn 4 in the restart zone. He had to turn left to come to pit road, or he could have easily won in his own equipment last year. He was in position to do it.
Well, that was in overtime. So you think if the caution doesn't come out, maybe he saves enough and gets to the end and wins the race.
I know it hasn't been the year they've won it. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he's going to have the fastest car and drive off the front of the field. But I feel confident his tenacity and how he races and his approach. If it falls his way, he would be one of the toughest guys to pass. That 6th car would be 3 lanes wide.
And him winning from where he is in the points would be not good for his teammates, Preece and Buscher, who were hanging around that cut line. 7th for Keselowski.
Y'all are selling it, man, but it's going to be tough.
How about SVG? I just jump back up. SVG above Brad K. I don't think we can talk enough about, so much talk about the road courses. And I agree with you, Dale. This is not what I would call a traditional NASCAR oval, 90-degree corners. He probably can break them down a little bit more like a road course, but it's still an oval with guys that have raced ovals their whole lives, and here he is inside the top 10 still. Oh, man, we have some big damage on the 71 right here.
Yeah, the 71 has some issues.
Brad got
pretty close to the wall off of turn 2. Little contact there. I thought he got real close. I wasn't sure. I didn't think he had contact such as that, and that's really late off the corner. And then he's getting everything he can out here, maximizing all the racetrack. And McDowell also had some contact at some point. Cost him quite a bit of lap time.
Yeah, he ended up 12th for McDowell, but I bet that car is going to need repairs as well. There was some damage to the right side wheels.
Christopher Bell had some issues in practice, wasn't fast off the trailer. They seemed to have improved that car a little bit with some changes they made during practice. We'll see how he shapes up in his qualifying run.
Last top 10 on an oval for Bell was Nashville. In position to do some really good things last week at Dover. Had to spin late and unfortunately didn't work out for him. Was top 5 here at Indy a season ago in the Brickyard 400. 3 wins on the campaign for driver 20.
Yeah, 4/10 off to Jones. Logano's on the racetrack as well. Logano did not have good speed in practice. Let's see the 71 car here. We have a replay of the contact again off of turn 2.
Oh boy,
it's big.
I kind of was judging how much softball was left, and when it showed up and there was still, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet of softball, I'm like, oh, he is well short of corner exit.
I think we both sit here and go, maybe this won't be too bad.
No.
And we talked about the Penske guys, but Cindric is 5th right now. And Josh Berry, the Alliance car with Wood Brothers, is 9th. Logano jumps just in front of him in 8th in the 22. A 3-time champion, but has not won here in Indianapolis in the Brickyard 400.
You mentioned, what Brad's win would do. How about the 8 of Kyle Busch? I mean, it's hard to believe it's been as long as it's been, and they also haven't really had race-winning speed, but on the right day, remember Casey Kane? Nobody had him picked that year. We came here, and there was all those restarts, and he went to victory lane. I just think this place, I have seen both dominant performances with the fastest car win, but I've also seen a lot of cars wrecked and restarts and chaos late, and that's the type of race that I think the 8 can hang around and end up front in.
Kane, the only driver to win here in the Brickyard 400 from below the cut line, and that's what Kyle Busch will try to do. Comes in 39 out. Still could point his way in, and when you look at some of the tracks that are coming, I mean, they have a chance. Watkins Glen, well.
More contact off of 2. Turn 2, just a... Man,
pound in the right rear.
Real challenge.
Felt like announcer jinx right there to me. Stays in it down the back straightaway.
You're the announcer in that analogy, or is that you handed that to us?
No, I'll take full responsibility.
Okay, he stayed in it though. It's still only going to be about 3/10 off.
Not bad at all.
7th, even after that damage. See, like that one had like a chance of missing the end of the soft wall, but it doesn't.
Now, when I said not bad at all, I was talking about the end result, not the result of the car when he hit the wall. There's Tyler Reddick.
Oh, look at this lap so far from Reddick, but he's high right there, way higher than he wanted to be.
Well, that was coming to the finish.
Yep. He gave it back. He was green into turn 3 and gave it back.
Yeah.
He's going to qualify second.
He was pretty worried about his car too, so they were going to be happy with the end result.
A couple of hundredths off of Eric Jones, his Toyota teammate, as we check on Chris Buescher in the 17. Teammate Brad Keselowski, the best of the RFK cars, in 9th.
See those last 5 finishes, and honestly, better than I would imagine. I just, this guy just hasn't been able to put together the speed that I would like to see out of him, and I know that he wants to see. He's kind of in a precarious position if that cut line does move, which we all believe it will. He'll be right on top of him.
Well, the good news is there's not a track left that I don't think he could win. One at Watkins Glen, good speedway racer going to Daytona, right? I mean, that's an odd thing. Buescher doesn't jump to mind, but he's kind of in all of the races. There's not a track where I'm just writing him off.
I would say that 6 career wins at 6 different tracks. He's 3 of those are between now and the playoffs.
Well, 2/10 off right here. If you can kind of maintain this, it'd be a reasonable
That's right.
effort.
Front 4 rows. If you qualify in the top 8, I think, I consider that decent enough to think you've done your job. There he is 4th. 4th with, 8 cars to go? So you should feel pretty good about that. Bubba Wallace is tracking right on, though. 1 corner to go. Remember, that's where Reddick had his issue. Can Bubba Wallace upset the Toyota Brigade of Jones and put a different Toyota at the top? He does not miss the bottom like Reddick. He has a monster corner. That, I believe, is going to do it.
23 finishes the deal. Bubba Wallace now P1. 49-14.
There you have it.
What's that mean?
What's that mean? Means you're the fastest, man. Means you're the fastest. Crew chief, you got to give me some more details. Like, give me a little something, a little energy.
Drive me crazy. You'd have a good qualifying lap, nobody'd say a thing. Or they'd say, hey, good job.
But you know what?
What is that?
A good job, like a pat on the back, or
3/10 faster than everybody? What is it?
Hey, I see that, and I think about the opportunity for stage points when you talk about Bubba Wallace. You know what I mean?
Everything.
Won a stage here, or won a stage here a season ago, did Bubba Wallace.
Ty Gibbs on the front end of his qualifying run down the front straightaway. Off into turn 1, a great ride on board.
I love this.
Let's ride on board through turns 2 here.
Normally, I hate to hear the part throttle, but after some of the guys hit the fence, I'm okay if he's just a little easy back to the gas.
Tracking with top 10 run here. Possibly top 5. Oh, man, you want to go to that throttle because you're coming to the checkered right here. You just can't do it.
Nice lap, though. 4th.
Yep, 4th.
49.30, P4 right now. Good job.
Toyotas are doing good today.
That's a great point. Top 4 all Toyotas.
And, 2311 was good here last year. I wasn't sure what to expect because this year's been a struggle at times with this company, this organization, but they had the speed last year.
This has been a good track in general for Bubba Wallace.
Yeah,
Watch Ryan Blaney dancing around.
Way off on speed. Had his hands full. And that race car, that 12 car, hadn't been good all day.
21st.
And he was down the sheet in practice as well.
Here's Alex Bowman, who really made it pay last week at Dover, one of his better racetracks. And he gained like 30 points on the cut line. He needs it because Indianapolis has not been a great place for him.
30 points and moved up right now. He's got 2 guys behind him in the playoffs still. That kind of race within a race in case you get a new winner. And I don't rule Bowman out. Like, he kind of jumps up and shows up at some of the oddest times. Why not here at Indy?
I'm sure they're racing to win, right? Obviously, but I think you got to think if you're him, you're also assuming that you're the guy, you're in the position that possibly points their way in, right?
Yeah.
So that's your backup plan. He jumps out of the gas there, he's had some moments through 1 and now off of turn 2.
I asked Blake Harris that exact thing, like, hey, we can go for points, and he literally was like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, oh no, I'm not, I have no vote in this. I don't know what you should do, but good luck to you. And I kind of walked out of his garage.
I would never insert myself into that conversation.
He's gonna need it. That was a tough lap for Alex.
19 for Bowman.
Car's not very comfortable.
Teammate on track now. Did you see that?
I think Chase just got in the fence there. You see the tire marks he laid down, and he's out of the, I don't know if he's out of the gas, but he's losing a ton of speed. This 9 car was 15th in practice. We didn't really love the lap times. It looks like he's just pushing, trying to get a little bit more, and maybe got too much. Let's take a look.
I did not expect this much of an eventful qualifying, but man, once again, same spot, turn 2, high, off the corner.
Oh, good job. No contact. No contact. Watch this.
Oh boy.
Napa onboard showing all there.
These cars just are not getting a hold of the racetrack.
No.
I'm really, really shocked. I thought these cars would be locked down. Look at there, the 5 out of the gas.
And it
no
excites
grip.
me for tomorrow. I want these things to drive bad, because we talk about passing can be a little bit of a challenge. Well, if they drive bad, it becomes easier to pass. Guy in front of you makes a mistake, gets one of those big corrections. Now Larson's going to drive bad and still trending the green.
This guy's out of shape, out of control, and still got a shot at it.
First of 3 to go in qualifying, Kyle Larson.
Bleeding a little bit of lap time here. Briscoe's on the racetrack as well behind him. Trending right now 10 to the good.
Reigning winner in the Brickyard 400.
He had to jump out of the gas there coming to the finish as well. That is
right off for Briscoe. I get nervous every time. He's got a little bit in the bank, though.
Toyotas, we said it, they've been great in qualifying. Briscoe, unbelievable this year. 4 poles, 2 of those coming in crown jewel events. Led him to the green in the Daytona 500, the Coke 600, and Indiana's own trying to get it done in Indianapolis. There it is, Briscoe, 49-13 to the top with 1 to go.
Toyota has never swept top 5 starting positions. They're going to do it today.
So now is it going to be last week's runner-up or last week's winner? We have Hamlin yet to go. Bubba was so close.
Now this is Denny's lap.
Oh boy.
Look at all that green for Hamlin.
Well, he's got 1 or 2 to deal with. Turn 2 has been the trouble spot.
It's early. It's still a lot of lap left. Look at this guy. He is flying.
I mean, that thing looks locked in. My goodness.
That was a heck of a corner right there. And he finished it. Oh,
into the wall for Hamlin.
That's a hard hit. This is going to be hard. Oh, man, that's a hard one as well. Wow.
Turn 2 all day. And this is a guy that had 2 tenths up.
Has a hell of a turn 1 and
unreal.
And he,
what a hit too, coming back across the racetrack. Huge impact to that inside wall, winning that coming down. Say a lot about him, how good he is. 58 wins. He's one of the oldest drivers in the field. His commitment level to pushing it to the edge has not wavered 1 ounce. I mean, he had 2 tenths on the pole and went through turn 2 with full abandon, right? Like he was gonna put a lap down for us to all talk about. Unfortunately, that same spot, Dale.
Yeah, he had so much confidence, I think, how turn 1 went. Turn 1 was as perfect as you could possibly hope, and then through turns 2, we've seen so many cars have problems here, and he has seen that as well, right? He's watched all of the cars go before him, and that back end started coming around, and once he had damaged the toe links, there was no control in the car and into the inside wall.
Big hit.
4 wins this year. You know, we talk about his successful season. 20 starts, 7 top 2s, more than a third of the time. He finishes inside the top 2. We're going to have a lot of work to do when we go green here tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the tough part about the next gen is when you bend that rear toe link and that tire toes way out, you can't steer it out of, I mean, it's going into this inside wall.
That's right.
Right, so the right rear toe link breaks, the rear skews and turns, and he just has to lock it down because he cannot steer the car or do anything to keep it from heading where it's going. And that inside wall, that impact there is a tough one. That's right on board.
Onboard look at the Hamlin crash.
But I am impressed still with the commitment. And the way that car went through turn 1, just impressive. Let's listen to some audio.
Talk to me, DH, you okay? Talk to me, you're key to that.
Yeah.
Copy, catch your breath. They're on the way to you.
Apologies, guys.
All good, it's all important as you're all right.
Yeah,
hey. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're Denny Hamlin, you just come off a win. You got all the confidence in the world. You just signed a new deal. You can go out there and you can take those type of risks. And you tell me, Steve, as a crew chief, you don't got any problem with that. You have
Absolutely not.
You have zero problem with him going out there and doing that.
That is that is, you know, this sounds awful, but every once in a while you have to wreck one. Like, you can't be that close to the edge and not wreck one. Just like I can't call a great race. I'm going to get one wrong. I'm going to pit at the exact wrong time, and we're going to finish. We've pitted with like 8 to go at Richmond one time. Like, you're going to have these awful calls, but if you're not willing to make these types of mistakes, you can't be at this level. And Denny Hamlin has proven, I mean, not only the potential mistake of a backup car, but the risk. I mean, you heard it in the radio. That impact was huge for a guy in his mid-40s with 58 wins, and he's as motivated to sit on the pole here at Indy as he was like it was his rookie year. I mean, that's what continues to drive this guy.
Happy homecoming for Chase Briscoe. He'll lead him to the green tomorrow in the Brickyard 400, his 5th pole of the season, Danielle.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that his son Brooks is happy. He keeps asking, Dad, do you get to do a burnout? Dad, are we going to victory lane? He said, no, bud, that's if we win it tomorrow. But a solid start, Brooks. It's treacherous out there. You just saw what happened to your teammate. How'd you put up such a great lap?
Yeah, I was super close to doing that, really in all 4 corners. That's the closest I think I've ever got to Indy 500 qualifying, just being on the absolute ragged edge. Yeah, I thought I was going to lose it a couple times, but was able to hold on to it. So, yeah, it is super cool. I'm holding back tears, truthfully. This is just such a special moment for me. And just, you know, even hearing the crowd, you know, as I got the pole, it was just super cool. So, yeah, hopefully can keep it up there tomorrow. You know, that's the one that we want to win is tomorrow. So, yeah, I got a really fast Bass Pro Shops Toyota, and hopefully now that we start up front, we can keep it up there.
You have a knack for scoring the pole in crown jewel events, especially this year. The Daytona 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and now, Chase, the Brickyard 400. What makes this one so special?
Yeah, just being, you know, from literally 70 miles down the road and coming here as a kid. I mean, I got literally my first uniform in racing. As you drive out the tunnel here in 1 and 2, there's a brick building, and that's where I got my first ever uniform. And just dreaming of being able to come to this place and sitting in the same grandstands all the fans are. I mean, I was dreaming of being on the other side of the fence, and now to be able to do that is just unbelievable.
Daddy gonna win tomorrow, Brooks?
What do we got to do if we win?
Kiss.
What are we gonna do? Yeah,
kiss the bricks. Bubba Wallace, I think, though, is gonna try the same thing, Alan.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna try. 2nd place and a smile for Bubba. Can you be happy with that, or are you?
What smile?
Yeah, I saw you. You what is it, 1300s? Is that what you?
I don't need to know the specifics, okay? I don't know. It stings. Shout out. Oh, he left. Oh, there he is. Can you turn the camera around, please? Raja told me earlier today, I seen him at a Shady Rays event. He said, do not suck today.
You didn't?
I didn't. Well, if I'd have been, it would have been a really slap in the face for him. But all in all, good day. Appreciate everybody on this 23 Chumba Casino Camry. A lot of speed. Didn't really know where we were at in practice. And I tell you, I thought I did a horrendous lap all over the place with inputs and steering wheel. And Charles just said, let's go after we cross the line. What does that mean? Does that mean more speed or is that we're good?
How'd I do?
Yeah, so all in all, it was good. Congrats to Chase, JGR guys. Chase has been on this year in qualifying. Toyotas are strong. I think the first 5 starting spots is big. So proud to be repping the brand. And all in all, good Saturday here in Indy.
This is a tough place. You have a knack for it. 3 straight top 10s and another fast car. Can you get it done tomorrow?
We'll wake up tomorrow and get that feeling, and I think we can. You know, it all starts with believing in yourself, believing in your team, and from day one of the season starting, we've never given up on that. You know, things haven't gone our way, that's for sure, but we haven't detoured off the path. You find out who your true self is through the toughest moments, and we're right where we want to be. Got some work to do, but a lot of fun to be had.
All right, believing in yourself in a fast car certainly helps for Bubba Wallace. Front row tomorrow.
Great day for Toyota in qualifying. They sweep the top 5 positions. 4 of those drivers have not won this year. Chase Briscoe has got it done at Pocono, and he leads him to the green flag. Great moment for the 30-year-old from Mitchell, Indiana. Thank you for watching here on True TV. We'll have the full grid coming up Qualifying is done, presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Thanks for joining us in Indy.
car together and get him back out there tomorrow. They got a lot of work to do. Going to be some guessing games on the setup of that car without any laps, but we'll see how Denny can fare during tomorrow's race.
How great is it to be here and just anticipating what the buzz will be like 24 hours from right now?
Yesterday was a tease. We came out, we had blue sky, then the rains washed it all out. I was ready to see cars on the track. Today, the blue skies held out, and it was everything we were looking for. Practice qualifying, to be quite honest, way more chaotic than I thought. I have no idea what that means for the race. If it drives anything like qualifying, it's going to be a handful of these guys.
That's what I was glad to see, actually, was the drivers really have their hands full. It is not easy to get around this racetrack, and then you got to put them all out there together in dirty air and all the challenges that presents. It's going to be tough for the drivers for sure.
And it accelerates the challenge, no doubt about that. Great day for practice and qualifying. Thanks for watching on True TV. We'll see you tomorrow.